or on a trip, right? Phone's filling up with amazing photos, videos, memories you definitely want to keep.
Absolutely capture everything.
But then you start thinking, okay, where am I going to store all this stuff?
Storage anxiety. It's real.
And if you're crossing borders, well, that adds another whole layer, doesn't it? Like who might look at your phone or your laptop?
Yeah, that's definitely the tricky part of modern travel. You're balancing capturing moments with, managing and securing your digital self. Different places, different rules.
Okay, let's dive right in then. For this deep dive, we're kind of looking at two sides of this coin based on the info you pulled together.
Right.
First, there's Havenet. It's a cloud storage thing aimed apparently right at travelers.
Yeah, specifically marketed that way.
And second, we're tackling that whole electronic device search situation at borders.
Yeah.
We've got some data from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP.
And some practical advice, too, from Schneier on Security and the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the EFF.
Got it. So Havenet for the storage problem, maybe, and then CBP, Schneier, EFF for the border security side.
Exactly. Havenet is presented as one answer for managing all that travel data.
Okay.
And the other sources, they really get into the weeds on device security, privacy concerns, what actually happens when you cross a border.
Right. So our mission here really is to give everyone listening a clear, kind of concise overview.
Yeah, cut through some of the noise.
We want to explore, is cloud storage like Havenet a good travel tool? And what's the real deal with device searches at the border?
Basically, give you the info you need to feel a bit more in control of your digital stuff when you're out there.
Perfect. So let's start with Havenet. They call themselves a travel companion in the cloud. What makes them, travel specific? What stands out?
Well, it seems like they've really thought about the user experience for someone on the move. They talk a lot about seamless integration.
Meaning, like, easy to use.
Yeah, easy to use with macOS Finder and Windows File Explorer, so it just feels like part of your normal computer workflow.
Okay, that's good. No clunky interfaces.
Hopefully not.
Right.
And they also mention performance boosts for uploads and downloads, which, if you're on iffy hotel Wi-Fi...
Oh, yeah, that matters a lot.
Definitely. Speed is key.
And it's not just usability, right? They're also talking privacy, sustainability, calling it a distributed cloud storage network.
Distributed. So the idea is it's secure, private, affordable, strong encryption, they say, across your devices.
So what does distributed actually mean in simple terms? Is it different from like Google Drive or Dropbox?
It can be. Think of it like instead of one massive data center somewhere, the storage is spread out.
Okay.
Potentially even using like spare storage space from other users on the network. It's a different model, can have some security upsides, maybe some resilience benefits.
Interesting. And they have different plans, storage amounts.
Yeah, they've got options. There's a free 25 gigabyte plan to start, which is decent.
Right.
Then it goes up to 1 terabyte, 5 terabytes, even 8 terabytes. So pretty scalable depending on your needs.
But the feature that really jumped out at me was the automatic backup.
Ah, yes. That's a big one for travel.
You take your photos, get back to the hotel, connect to Wi-Fi, and boom, it just backs up without you doing anything.
That's the promise. As soon as you're online, it safeguards those memories. It really offers, peace of mind.
Totally. It beats worrying about losing your phone or a memory card getting corrupted or, stolen.
Exactly. Havenet points that out too. Physical storage is just riskier when you travel. Lost, damaged, whatever cloud backup is. Well, it's just safer for the data itself.
Makes sense. And they mentioned sharing too. Securely.
Through their encrypted network. So you can theoretically share updates or photos with family back home directly from their system.
And that sustainability angle is different. Reducing cloud emissions. How does the distributed thing help there?
Well, the claim is that by using this spread out infrastructure, maybe leveraging existing user hardware instead of building huge power-hungry data centers.
They cut down on the energy needed. They quote a 77% reduction in emissions, which is pretty attention-grabbing.
Yeah, especially for travelers who are more environmentally conscious. And people can contribute their own storage space.
That seems to be part of the model, yeah. Leveraging unused capacity.
Okay. So how do you get started with it if someone's interested?
Seems pretty standard. Create an account, download their app.
It's app only. No website access.
That's what the source said, yeah. App-based.
Yeah.
And you just follow the setup steps.
Okay. So Havenet is one potential solution for the where do I put all my photos problem.
So be, yeah.
Now let's shift gears to that other, maybe more, stressful topic for international travelers, border security, your devices.
Right. This is where things can feel a bit murky, maybe a little intimidating.
We've got that CBP data on how often they actually search electronic devices.
Okay.
What did that show? Is it happening all the time?
Well, the headline number is actually really low. Yeah, according to CBP, well over 99.99% of travelers don't have their devices searched. Okay, that's
They
reassuring.
provides context, definitely. In the first half of fiscal year 2025, they did about 12,000 searches per quarter, give or take.
12,000 sounds like a lot, but compared to total travelers.
Exactly. In Q2 of FY25, there were roughly 88.8 million entries into the US.
Wow. Right.
So doing the math, the chance of a search was something like 1 in 7,240 travelers.
1 in over 7,000. Okay, that perspective is important.
Very important. And the CBP also made a point of saying these numbers are pretty consistent with trends since 2021.
So countering any idea that it suddenly spiked recently.
Seems like it, yeah. They specifically said claims of increases due to administration changes are false, according to their data.
Okay, but still,
Yeah.
even if the odds are low, it can happen.
It can.
And that's where the advice from the EFF and Bruce Schneier comes in, because the rules at the border are different.
Very different. They point out that, in the U.S. at least, border agents generally don't need a warrant or even reasonable suspicion to search your phone or laptop.
Right, that's the key thing people need to understand. Schneier even mentioned an experience in Canada, just to show it's not only a U.S. thing, rules vary globally.
And the consequences of refusing a search depend on your status, right?
Yeah, that's crucial. For U.S. citizens, they can't deny you entry just for refusing to unlock your phone.
Yeah.
But you could be detained for hours. They might confiscate your device, maybe for a long time, lots more questioning. It's not consequence-free.
And for non-citizens, visitors, or even lawful permanent residents.
For foreign visitors, refusal could mean being denied entry altogether.
Ouch.
And for green card holders, lawful permanent residents, refusing might lead to uncomfortable questions about their immigration status. It's what the EFF calls a no-win dilemma.
Yeah, sounds like it. So, given that, what can travelers actually do before they even get to the border to protect themselves, or at least minimize potential problems?
There's actually quite a bit of practical advice. The main theme seems to be carry less digital stuff.
Reduce your digital baggage, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, do I really need every single file, every app on this device for this specific trip?
Maybe leave some devices at home entirely.
That's one suggestion.
Yeah.
Or use what they call a burner device, like a temporary phone.
Right. CNET describes them as, cheap prepaid phones, not tied to your main accounts, less personal data at risk if it gets searched.
Okay, what else?
Schneier's big suggestion, which ties back to our earlier discussion, is put sensitive data in the cloud and then delete the relevant apps off your phone before you cross the border.
So the data isn't physically on the device when you cross.
Exactly. If it's not there, they can't directly access it from the device itself.
Makes sense. What about securing the device itself?
Both the EFF and Schneier emphasize using full disk encryption, which most modern phones have, but make sure it's on.
Okay.
And have backups of your important data somewhere else entirely, not just on the device.
Right. Don't travel with the only copy of something crucial.
Definitely not. Another tip. Power your devices completely off before you get to the border checkpoint.
Why? Does that help?
The EFF says it can protect against certain types of forensic tools or data extraction methods that work better on a running device.
Interesting. And they also said don't rely just on fingerprint or face unlock.
Yeah, they recommend a strong passcode or password instead.
Yeah.
The legal standing around compelling a fingerprint versus a password can be different.
Okay. Password over biometrics at the border. What about apps and accounts?
Good point. Check your social media privacy settings. Log out of apps, log out of web browsers, maybe even temporarily uninstall sensitive apps, clear your browser history.
Just minimize the easily accessible info trail on the device.
Pretty much. Schneier had a couple of more niche ideas, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like putting data on a micro SD card, maybe hiding it somehow, though he admits that might get picked up by X-rays.
Maybe a bit risky.
Yeah. And using a local SIM card when you arrive, or navigating the whole eSIM thing on newer phones to avoid linking your main number directly while crossing.
Okay. The EFF also mentioned factory resetting the phone.
They did, yeah. Wipe it clean, cross the border, then restore your data from a cloud backup.
But they warned that might look suspicious.
It might, yeah. Wiping a device right before inspection could raise flags. It's a trade-off.
Okay, so you've done all this prep maybe. You're at the border, an agent asks to see your phone, asks for the password. What then?
This is where the EFF says you need to have decided your approach in advance.
Don't try to figure it out under pressure.
Exactly. Know beforehand if you plan to comply or if you plan to refuse, and understand the potential consequences we talked about.
And whatever you decide.
Stay calm, be respectful. That's key advice. If you do comply, they suggest you could state clearly that you're doing it under protest or without consent.
Does saying that legally help?
It might establish a record of your objection, but practically in that moment, you're likely still complying if you unlock it. But it notes your position.
Got it. And we already covered the potential fallout from refusing delays, seizure, questioning for citizens, denied entry for non-citizens.
Right. Escalation is likely if you refuse. They might take the device. You might face much longer delays, maybe flags on your record for future travel.
There's a legal angle too, right? The EFF mentioned a Supreme Court case.
Yeah, Riley v. California. That case basically said police usually need a warrant to search your phone during an arrest within the country.
Because phones contain so much private information. Our whole lives, practically.
Exactly. And the EFF argues that same logic should apply at the border. The border shouldn't be a total exception to privacy for digital devices.
But currently, it largely is an exception.
For now, the legal consensus gives border agents much broader search authority for devices than police have inland, though there are ongoing legal challenges.
And you mentioned the standard for making someone unlock a phone isn't even consistent everywhere.
Right. Some courts require more specific reasons to believe evidence is on the device. Others have a lower bar. Basically, just needing to know that you know the password. It's messy.
Which brings us back kind of full circle to the cloud idea.
It does. The EFF explicitly makes the point. Data stored securely online, not on your device.
Might be better protected during a border crossing.
Potentially, yes. Because it's not physically present for them to search right there. They'd likely need different legal processes to access cloud data.
And for extra security in the cloud.
They mention client-side encryption.
Meaning?
You encrypt the data yourself on your device before it even gets uploaded to the cloud service.
Ah, so even the cloud provider, like Hivnet or whoever, can't easily read it?
That's the idea. Adds another layer of protection.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up concisely. Key takeaways.
All right. First, cloud storage solutions like Hivnet are tailoring features for travelers. Things like automatic backup, ease of use, even sustainability matter. It's an option.
Right. Option 1. Manage your data proactively with something like that.
Second, border searches of electronic devices. They happen. But statistically, it's rare. Very small percentage of travelers.
Good to keep that perspective. Don't panic, but be aware.
Exactly. And third, the most crucial thing is probably proactive security before you travel.
Thinking about what data you carry, securing your devices, using encryption, maybe using cloud storage strategically.
And also understanding your rights, knowing how you might respond if asked to unlock your device at the border. Preparation is key.
So hopefully pulling all this together helps people feel a bit less overwhelmed, maybe more prepared for the digital side of travel.
That's the goal. Just provide clear, actionable info so you can navigate it all with a bit more confidence.
Okay, here's a final thought to leave folks with. You know, our lives are just getting more and more digital, more connected. Everything's on our phones.
Yep, everything.
So how do you think this balance between our personal privacy, all that data we carry, and the demands of border security, how is that going to evolve? What's next?
That's the big question, isn't it? How do we navigate that as technology keeps changing?
Definitely something to ponder as you
Yeah.
plan your next adventure.